What's up, YouTube? How's everyone doing? This your boy Reg in the building. Here with another CD recap and stuff like that. Yeah, let's get this started. First album I'm about to show y'all is Helter Skelter with Nocturnal. This album came out in 1996. Very, very, very dope album in my opinion. This was rock and rock. Sean Price, before he became like Sean Price and stuff like that. Rest in peace. Underground hip hop legend, if you ask me. If you ask me, I personally feel like this is like my favorite album next to Enter the Stage when it came to like that first couple albums from Boot Camp Click. Like this album definitely had like a way more darker kind of feel to it. I love songs like Therapy, Operation Lockdown, Understand, this Sean Price song, Who Dat. I mean, this album to me is a fucking hip hop classic. Then we got Lauryn Hill, Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. This album came out in 1998. Very good album. I like it. But I do admit sometimes it gets so... I don't want to say overrated. I don't want to say that, but it's like, I consider this more of an R&B album than a hip hop album, if you ask me. Like, it has a good mixture, but she definitely was on more on the R&B bag and stuff like that. I like this album. I like songs like Do Wop That Thing, X Factor, Superstar was good. I used to love them. Every Ghetto, Every City. Unfortunately, this is like her only studio album she ever came out with. Keyword studio album, because I didn't really care too much for the Unplugged album like that. But yeah, Lauryn Hill, man. Fucking dope artist, like her. Then we got Billie Holiday with Love Songs. It's like a compilation of some of her songs and stuff like that. All my Billie Holiday fans, if you like it, definitely check that shit out. I got Whitney Houston, the late great Whitney Houston, with her self-titled debut album. This album came out in 1985. A very, very, very good album from Whitney. Definitely a fucking masterpiece of an album. This was known for songs like You Give Good Love, Saving All My Love for You, Greatest Love of All these love songs. No pun intended. How Will I Know? You know what I'm saying? Like, this whole album was just so fucking fire and whatnot. Just when she came out, that voice she had and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Then we have 1990, her third album, I'm Your Baby Tonight. This album came out in 1990, like I mentioned. In my opinion, her best album, if you ask me. This album, she kind of went more on that R&B kind of side of things. Well, her first two albums was more like a pop R&B, but this one she kind of like incorporated like New Jack Swing a little bit, the contemporary R&B sound in 1990. Like, this is actually my favorite album. Like, I love songs like I'm Your Baby Tonight, I Belong to You, We Didn't Know with Stevie Wonder, After We Make Love. She had fucking L.A. Reid and I think this is the first album she worked with Babyface for the first time and shit. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, definitely gonna talk about this album one day. Then we got Mickey Howard with her self-titled album that came out in 1989. Very, very, very good album in my opinion. I feel like this album does not get like a lot. I feel like Mickey Howard kind of gets a little slept on at times and shit like that too, especially considering the era she came out with, like with the Whitneys and Janets, the Anitas, the Sades. She kind of get a little swept under the rug. Love Under New Management. Love that fucking record and stuff like that. Come Home to Me. I'll Be Your Shoulder. You know what I'm saying? This was late 80s R&B at its finest. Then we got my nigga I-20. We got fucking Self-Explanatory with 2004. Very dope album. In my opinion, this is the best non-Ludacris album on Disturbing the Peace, if you ask me. Like, this is the album that you play like when you wanna, it gives you that feeling of 2004. I'm talking about like the Def Jam fight for New York, that kind of fight music and shit like that. I love songs like Meet the Dealer, Backstage, May Sound Crazy. I love that beat to that. Slow Fucking was good. This is a fucking dope album. It's a shame he only dropped one album and stuff, But yeah, that's Disturbing the Peace for you. Then we got went to the Ice Cube. We got America's Most Wanted. I mean, do I even have to say a lot about this album? This is a fucking hip hop classic. Love this record, you know what I'm saying? His first four albums are my favorite, but if I had to pick if I had to like centralize those, I might just go with America's Most Wanted and Death Certificate. This is like really one of my favorite debuts in hip hop history. Just a little disclaimer, this is actually a 2003 reissue, and you can tell because it has the Kill at Will EP, which I actually do have a physical copy right here, which is more on that later. You guys should know he did this album after he left NWA. He hooked up with the Bomb Squad. See, originally he wanted Dr. Dre to do some production on it. He also wanted like some of the production on Third Basis, on the Third Base album, like some of Third Base producers and shit, you know what I'm saying? But the Bomb Squad and Sir Jinx did their thing. I love like songs like The Nigga You Love to Hate, America's Most Wanted, You Can't Fade Me, Gangsta Fairy Tale, I'm Only Out for One Thing. Like, this whole fucking album is one of my favorite hip hop albums of all time. Not just hip hop, but one of my favorite albums of all time, period. And then he followed that up with the Kill at Will EP. This EP also came out like late 1990. I'm gonna be real with you guys. I feel like this EP and NWA's 100 Miles and Running are the best EPs in hip hop history. If you ask me, this EP is definitely like more. I consider like more dessert of the dessert after America's Most Wanted. If you ask me, like the classic Jackin' for Beats, which I feel like that song itself is very important for hip hop because it kind of like predated like a lot of those that mixtape culture where you have like motherfuckers rhyming on each other's beats or those little mashup kind of songs and stuff, if you know what I'm saying. Dead Homies was dope. The Product was good too. You know what I'm saying? Very, very, very dope EP. I feel like any Ice Cube fan should own this one. Alrighty. Then we got his magnum opus, if you ask me, Death Certificate. This album came out in 1991, like a day before Halloween. Very dope album. This is also the 2003 reissue of this album, and you can tell because it has the bonus track, How to Survive in South Central, which that song was on the Boys in the Hood soundtrack. A soundtrack I used to fucking have, but I left it in one of my first car, in one of those CD changers. And I was so mad when I junked the car. I realized I left that in the CD player. I was so mad that day, but you know what? Eventually one day I'll get it back. This was known for songs like Giving Up the Nappy Dugout, A Bird in the Hand, the greatest diss track of all time, No Vaseline. And speaking of that, I love how he did this album. Like the Death side was more like the gangster, hard-hitting side, but then the Life side, it had like more of a conscious rap kind of feel to it, if you ask me. So I kind of like how he did that crap. And that's one of the reasons why I like rappers like Ice Cube and Ice-T, because like even though they were quote-unquote gangster rappers, they had like a cautionary tale when it came to like how they approached this shit, you know what I'm saying? So then we have The Predator. This album came out in 1992. Another strong album from Cube, if you ask me, you know what I'm saying? This was his most successful album. And I feel like that has a lot to do with the song It Was a Good Day, which I feel like I believe that's actually his most successful single as well too. Yeah, man, I love the title track. It's probably my favorite track off this album. I love the way he used the Johnny Guitar Watson sample. Y'all should know that sample by now. Wicked was dope. There's some controversy with that song Wicked because King Son, he said that, Cube stole that song or he did his own version of the song and stuff like that too, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, Dirty Mac was good. You know what I'm saying? It also has the original version of Check Yourself with Das Effects, which I kind of prefer that version a bit more than the one with the Grandmaster Flash sample. Nothing against that version, but a lot of cats have used. He was like the first cat to use that sample because a lot of cats use that sample over the years and stuff like that. Cough, cough, puffy. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, this is probably his most darkest album. this album came out around the time the LA riots was happening too, so he kind of had that feel to it. Then you have 1993 with Lethal Injection. Very dope album. In my opinion, his most underrated album in his discography. Like, is it as strong as his first three? Not necessarily, but I would be lying if I said that he didn't step his pen game up, because some of the concepts he was talking about with this album, he was talking a lot about like religion, and he was talking about fucking like songs like "What Can I Do," just like the blacks achieving the American dream. But once he starts living it up and stuff like that, he ends up going to like prison. But he questions why it's successful for white people to do it, but then when it comes to people in his color, now he has to work at McDonald's and shit like that too. And what's interesting about that is like that song "What Can I Do." There was like 2 remixes of the track. The first remix, it was like the Ali Shaheed Muhammad remix, which I kind of found that interesting because years later, Cuban Tip would kind of have a little issue during the time of the West Side Connection era, and he had like the West Coast remix, which has a more of like a G-funkish kind of beat. The original version, I gotta say, is my favorite because it uses the Marvin Gaye "I Want You" sample. And I like the way Q was flowing on that track. Ghetto Bird was dope. You Know How We Do It. I can always consider You Know How We Do It the quote-unquote sequel to It Was a Good Day. Make It Rough, Make It Smooth with KD. Oh my God. This whole album is fucking fire. And then we get into War and Peace Volume 2. This album came out in 2000. You guys know I'm not a big fan of the War and Peace era. Of course, I don't have War and Peace Volume 1. I'm not really in a hunt to get that because, well, Volume 1 has some passable tracks, but both these albums was kind of Cube's weakest albums, if you ask me. I really didn't really like I didn't even like a lot of shit from this album. I didn't care for Hello that much. Surprisingly, that fucking Chris Rock song, You Ain't Gotta Lie to Kick It. Oh my God. That's not really any song. I think the only song I kind of tolerate was probably Record Comedy Pimpin'. This is not really one of Cube, but he kind of did this as like a cash grab, because he had that Next Friday movie out and stuff like that too. You know what I'm saying? So he was still kind of like Craig, if that makes sense. Then you have Ice-T. We're going from Ice Cube to Ice-T. Fucking the Iceberg album. This album came out in 1989. Very dope album. In my opinion, my second favorite Ice-T album. You guys should know what the first is. Stay tuned. Ice-T always had the best album covers in hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Like this shit right here. This is some like heavy metal kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? Storytelling. I feel like this might be his best album conceptually, if you ask me. I love songs like You Played Yourself, Black and Decker, The Girl Try to Kill Me, The Iceberg. You know what I'm saying? Peel the Caps Back. That's actually my favorite song off this album. I love the performance he did at this like MTV show. It's on YouTube and stuff like that. That's one thing. Ice-T's live performance. I've always loved Ice-T's live performance. The way he just commands the stage and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Very, very dope. Like you can tell, I'm a huge Ice-T fan. You know what I'm saying? Very, very big Ice-T fan. I feel like he kind of does not really get his just due at times because niggas know him more for like being on Law and Order, like more. And yeah, I mean, and people like to say, oh well, he's not the. I feel like lyrically, he kind of had his own style. If you ask me, I kind of felt like he kind of stepped his pen game up with this song with this album too. You know what I'm saying? So this is a fucking dope album. I will give this a listen. Now my favorite Ice-T album, OG Original Gangsta. This is actually his most successful album too. You know what I'm saying? Very, very, very dope album. 1991 was a busy year for him because he had this album and then he was getting the Body Count group out the way, and then he was in 2 movies on Ricochet and New Jack City, fucking classic movie. I love that's like one of my top 20 favorite movies of all time, if you ask me. Like Wesley Snipes, Mario Van Peebles. I mean, what's motherfucker's name? What's the nigga's name? The dude from Breakfast Club, Judd Nelson, stuff like that. You know, all did their thing on that. That movie should have gotten a lot more praise than it did. But you know what? It is what it is. But yeah, this album, and you know what's crazy also about this album? He did a music video for every song on this record. It's not even funny. You know what I'm saying? So this could be a contender for like the first visual album, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? You don't believe me? Like he all the videos was released on VHS, I think back in like 92. So yeah, check it out on YouTube and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like I love songs like Flyby, Mind Over Matter, Bitches 2. That's probably my favorite song off this record, maybe. Um, he had his group, the Body Count, kind of on his album as well too. You know what I'm saying? Lifestyles of the Rich and Infamous. Oh wow, that song so goes in. You know what I'm saying? So very, very, very dope album. This album to me, his best album. And then we have Return of the Real, Ice-T 6. Now granted, I need to get my hands on Home Invasion and stuff like that too, you know what I'm saying? That's a very dope album as well, you know. And that album, I feel like that album might be my fourth favorite album from Ice-T. This album, he kind of took a little break from rapping. He came back like 3 years later. He had like a more G-Funk kind of sound with this album. You know what I'm saying? This was known for songs like, what's that shit called? How Does It Feel? I Must Stand, Return of the Real, Inside of a Gangster. Like, I feel like this album kind of gets a little slept on, if you ask me. It's not the most perfect album he's ever done, but I feel like consistently he was still doing his thing. I also need to get my hands on the seventh album that came out in 1999. That goes for a stupid amount of money at times, but once I get it, I get it. Ice-T, Return to the Real. All right. My goal is to really get this shelf out the way so I can actually get back up here and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And just letting y'all know, I have to redo these CDs. This version, this is like the redid version and shit like that. So yeah. The Internet with Ego Death. This album came out in 2015. Very, very dope album. Man, the Internet, and this just takes me back to college, man. I was jammed to this album a lot in my sophomore year. This was known for songs like Girl, For the World, Partners in Crime Part 3. Like, this whole fucking album is a very, very, very dope album. Intro, with their self-titled album from 1993. Very dope album. Rest in peace to the late, great Kenny Green. One of the most illest R&B songwriters at that time, if you ask me. Yeah, man, this is known for songs like Love Thing, Don't You Love Me, It's All About You. They did a version of Ribbon in the Sky. Yeah, man. Once you have Eddie F as an executive producer, I mean, you can't really go wrong and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Very, very, very dope album. It's a shame Kenny Green is not with us no more. You know what I'm saying? If you guys know about Mary J. Blige, especially with the What's the 4-1, you should know who Kenny Green is. That's all I gotta say. Inspector Deck, Uncontrolled Substance. This album came out in 1999. Very, very good album, if you ask me. I kind of felt like this album kind of gets a little bit of a bad rep because, this album kind of gets a little bit of a bad rep because of the fact that, this was not his original. This was not his original album he was supposed to came out with and stuff like that too. Because his first album was supposed to came out back in like 95, 96. But what ended up happening was the fact that RZA had that infamous flood, or one of the infamous floods and shit like that. So his album was out, so he had to redo this whole album. This is actually a pretty good album, if you ask me. I wouldn't really call it a classic album, but it has some joints. My favorite joint, Elevation. That's my favorite song on this album. Trouble Man was good. Female Fatale, Movers and Shakers. I feel like it's one of the better albums when it came to that second wave of Wu albums post Wu-Tang Forever. Cause there was some key like Takao 2000, which I feel like is very underrated for Method Man. Of course, Supreme Clientele. But then there was some albums I couldn't like. It was just like, the production was like, I didn't care for Jizzes Beneath the Surface. Raekwon Immobilarity was okay, if you ask me. With that second wave, I feel like the affiliate albums was kind of saved it. Like, the Wu Syndicate album, Killer Priest album, Heavy Mental. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. Then we got Isley Brothers with Mission to Please. This album came out in 1995. Very, very, very dope album, if you ask me. With this album, with that album and stuff like that, this was kind of like a comeback album, to say the least, because of the fact that, after Between the Sheets, they kind of had like a commercial. Well, after the album, you guys should know the story. Like the younger brothers, Chris Jasper, Ernie Isley, and Marvin Isley, they formed like their own group, the Isley Jasper Isley, which they had that song Caravan of Love, which love that record. Everybody take a stand, join the caravan of love. It's alright. Never mind. And so, when it came to the older brothers, they stuck around for a while, but then O'Kelly died in '86 from like a heart attack, and Rudolph, he left the music industry to become like a pastor, which he still is to this day. Plus, he was also sick with diabetes and stuff like that too. So, excuse me, I'm kind of doing some things at the moment. So like Ron Isley, for a moment, was just carrying the Isley Brothers name, because he was working closely with Angela Winbush at that time. But then by the time like the early '90s happened, and stuff like that, I want to say Ron, Ernie, and Chris rejoined the group. No. Ron, Ernie, and Marvin rejoined the group and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And so that's when you had this album, because this was like the. Give me 1 second. This is like the second album that came out in the '90s, because they had one album I think that came out in '91. I haven't heard that record though. I've heard mixed feelings about that record, but this album, to me, when they started working more with R. Kelly and Angela Winbush was still here, I mean, it just introduced them to a whole another generation of fans. Plus, their songs at the time were being sampled a lot and even covered, because Aaliyah, she redid At Your Best You Are Love, and of course, Biggie at that time used Between the Sheets for Big Papa. So yeah, this album came out in '95, and one of my favorite albums they've ever done. I love Mission to Please You was good. Tears. They did a cover of Holding Back the Years. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man, this whole album is just so fucking good. Oh, and of course, R. Kelly did a whole Mr. Biggs character and shit like that, which he debuted on his very dope sophomore self-titled album and stuff like that too. So yeah, Mission to Please, very dope. I've always loved this album cover though. This album cover was so fucking clean, if you ask me. Then we have J. Cole, Born Sinner. This album came out in 2013. Very, very, very good album. I feel like this album kind of gets a little bit slept on when it comes to J. Cole fans and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? This album was known for songs like Illuminati, Crooked Smile with TLC, New York Times. Well, this is actually the deluxe version, and it has like a couple bonus tracks like New York Times with 50 Cent and Boss, Niggas Know, which I like that song. This album is a very good album. One of my favorites from 2013. Then we had J. Cole again with 2014 Forest Hills Drive. This album came out, of course, 2014. Probably my favorite album next to KOD from him. This album kind of made history because he became like the first rapper to get a platinum plaque without no guest appearances and shit like that. And I know a lot of people I was kind of skeptical about that because I thought LL Cool J Radio, because I know that went platinum, but what people got to remember about the Radio, Russell Simmons did like a guest appearance on the track too and stuff too, you know what I'm saying? So this album was very good. I love songs like Tale of Two Cities, Saint Tropez was good, No Role Models, Love Yours, Note to Self, Wet Dreams. I mean, yeah, man, I remember when this album first came out, it came out the blue, like late 2014. And yeah, everybody was on this shit, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, 2014 and 15, those were some good years for hip hop. I'm not even gonna hold you. Then I got Jaquan with Hood Hop. This album came out in 2004. Yes, the Everybody in the Club Get Tipsy guy. I'm gonna be real with you. I got this in the CD lot and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? I tried to sell it, but nobody really wanted to buy it. So it's okay. I never really heard it. I don't even want to hear this album. I just kept it for fuck's sakes. And then we have the Jacksons with their self-titled, the keyword, the Jacksons, not the Jackson 5. This is when they were on CBS Records. And this is when they left Motown. They left Motown. They left Jermaine at Motown. They added Randy, and it became history. You know, this whole album, they had like a Philly soul feel to it. You know what I'm saying? Because Gamble and Huff was executive producing this album. You know, he had songs like Enjoy Yourself, Enjoy Yourself, Enjoy Yourself with Me. Then he had Good Time. I love that song, Good Times. One of Michael's best vocals. Show You the Way to Go. Dreamer. Like, Gamble and Huff did that thing on this album. Like, very dope album. And then you have Destiny. This album came out in 1978. This is actually the most successful album to date, if you believe it or not. You know what I'm saying? And this is actually the first album where they actually did all the songwriting by themselves. This is known for songs like Shake Your Body Down to the Ground, Fire Ass Song, Blame It on the Boogie, Push Me Away, you know, All Night Dancing. You know what I'm saying? This was a very good album. It astonishes me, like, you know, when it comes to like the disco era, no one really mentioned this album and stuff like that too, you know. Very, very, very dope record. And then we got the live album from 1981. This was when they did the Triumph tour, if I'm not mistaken. Very, very, very good live album, if you ask me. This is like a little collector's album. I got this on Barnes & Noble a while back ago. One Jackson to another. We got Janet Jackson with the Janet Period album. Can't wait to see her in concert. Can't fucking wait. This album came out in 1993. Very, very dope record. This is actually her best-selling album to date. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. We all know this infamous photo that she did on Rolling Stone and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? This is known for songs like That's the Way Love Goes. You Want This, Anytime, Any Place, The Body That Loves You. You know what I'm saying? Like, this probably was like her most comfortable album and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Fucking fire. 4 years later, she came out with The Velvet Rope. This album came out in 1997. Very dope album as well, too. You know, classic if you ask me. Very influential. With this album, you know, she was going through a lot at this time. You know, she was going through like depression, and she had gone through some body image issues at that time, around that time and stuff too. So this whole album, you know, she was just, you know, just unleash herself, you know, with songs like Go Deep, the title track, Got Till It's Gone. You know, my favorite song off this album, Free Zone. I love that record. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, this whole album was fucking fire. It had like a very downbeat house feel to it. You know what I'm saying? Very influential album today, in today's R&B. Then we have 2001, All For You. Very good album as well. You know, this one, you can pretty much say it's like her happy album and stuff. You know what I'm saying? This is known for the title track, the "All for You." Dun dun dun. We all know that record. Nice usage of the chain sample. You know what I'm saying? Then we got "Come and Get Up" was dope. What's my song? Fucking where is it at? I know it's here. Would You Mind? I love that record. You know what I'm saying? Fucking dope album. Then we have Demeter Joe from 2004. Yeah, this album came out at a very horrific time and stuff like that, if you ask me. Y'all know this whole Super Bowl controversy where they pretty much try to blacklist her and shit. And I kind of feel like that kind of played a part in how this album commercially wasn't as successful. I mean, it did numbers, but it wasn't as successful like that. I personally feel like it's a very good album. Demeter Joe was good. I like the song All Night Don't Stop, I Want You. This was a very good record and stuff. I like it. All right, now we got the king of pop, Michael Jackson with Off the Wall. Fire album. My favorite Michael Jackson album he's ever done. You know what I'm saying? Very, very, very good album and stuff like that. You know, this is known for songs like the title track, Don't Stop Till You Get Enough, you know, Rock With You, I Can't Help It. That was written by Stevie Wonder. Check out the Stevie Wonder demo version of that song. That is fire. You know, I can tell she did that around a time, like, you know, I can definitely see it fitting, like, the Journey Through the Lives of Plants. I don't know what it was, but that demo kind of had that feel to it, if you ask me. But yeah, this is a very good album and stuff. And then we have Thriller in 1982. I mean, do we even have to talk about this record? But hey, best-selling album of all time, groundbreaking. You know, this was known for songs like Billie Jean, Your Girl Is Mine, PYT. You know what I'm saying? Like, this album broke down barriers, you know. It got more African Americans play in MTV. It bridged the boundaries between pop, R&B, rock. Very dope album, love it. Then we have Bad in 1987. Pretty good album in my opinion. Another very classic album. You know what I'm saying? This came out 5 years after Thriller. You know what I'm saying? This was like known for songs like Speed Demon, Another Part of Me, Man in the Mirror, Way You Make Me Feel. And it's kind of notable. This is when MJ really was talking more about socially conscious songs and stuff like that too. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that should tell you something. Then we have Michael Jackson again. Blood on the Dance Floor remix. This is like the remix album. This album was okay. I kind of prefer the newer songs, like the first 5 songs. Everything after the remixes, I didn't really care for. I wish they would have put the Scream remix with Tretch. I felt like that remix was fire as hell. So very, very, very interesting remix album. Then we have Jadakiss, Kiss the Game Goodbye. This album came out in 2001. Very, very good album in my opinion. His best album and shit too, if you ask me. This is known for songs like We Gonna Make It, Jada's Got a Gun, Show Discipline, Knock Yourself Out, Put Your Hands Up. Yeah, this was a very good album. Then we have Kiss of Death. This album came out in 2004. Yeah, I didn't care for this album too much, you know what I'm saying? This album definitely had like a more mainstream feel. And I respect the song Why with Anthony Hamilton, but I'm so tired of it. You know what I'm saying? I didn't care for the one with Mariah Carey. Yeah, obviously I don't have the track listing on this album. Like I said, this was part of a CD lot and stuff too. So yeah, Jadakiss, Kiss of Death. And then we have Bob James with The Genie, Themes and Variation from the TV series Taxi. Classic record right here, in my opinion. The soundtrack to probably my favorite sitcom of all time. You know what I'm saying? This record right here definitely gives you that New York feel to it and shit too. You know what I'm saying? This was like pretty much the musical score of the whole show. I love songs like The Genie, New York Mellow. That's probably my favorite track. The Marilou, very very dope. You know what I'm saying? Ballade. I mean, this whole fucking record is just a. If you want to like enjoy it, if you just want to just take a nice little drive and stuff like that, this might be the perfect album. I'm not just saying that because, of course, the show's named after Taxi, but it definitely had like that jazzy feel to it. You know what I'm saying? Then we have Rick James, Slick Rick himself. You know, come get it. This album came out in 1978. Very, very, very good album, if you ask me. One of my favorite Rick James albums. This was known for songs like You and I, Be My Lady, Mary Jane, Hollywood. Oh shit, yeah. Hollywood. Pretty dope record if you ask me. Yeah. You know what? Let me see. My phone's at 36. Alright, so I'm gonna probably just do this. Do probably everything. I might stop at the L's and stuff like that. I'm gonna just stop at the L's. Let's see what we got back here. Yeah, I feel like that's fair enough. Okay, I can knock this out. Because once I start that yawning, man, shit, it's gonna be a wrap. Then we have Rick James, Garden of Love. I love this record. This came out in 1980. Very underrated. In my opinion, this is actually my favorite Rick James album. But it's the most underrated Rick James album, if you ask me, because with this record right here, it came out after Fired It Up, which I never liked Fired It Up. That was when he kind of went that whole disco feel. And with this record, you know, he kind of went for that more smooth R&B ordeal and stuff like that too. And not a lot of people wanted that from Rick James. They wanted the funkier Rick James, like the Bustin' Now, which, you know, he ended up regrouping back when he did the Street Songs album and stuff like that too. I love songs like Summer Love, Merry Go Round, one of his funkiest tracks ever. Big Time, I love that track. You know, it's crazy. This is actually the 2010 reissue of this album. This album is actually very hard to come by and stuff like that because, you know, it really didn't do that well commercially. Plus, Motown didn't really promote this album. You know how that shit goes. So, yeah, man. Now we're going to go into Jay-Z. All right. 1996, Reasonable Doubt. Very, 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 very classic album. My favorite Jay album he's ever done. You know what I'm saying? This album definitely, this definitely was a blueprint when it came to like a lot of, when it came to like New York rap and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But just to let y'all know, I actually got the reissue that came out and stuff like that too. You know what I'm saying? And you can tell it's the reissue because, for one, I want to say the original version does not have those two circles above the Y. And second, it has the bonus track, the Fool's Paradise remix with Melissa Morgan, which that was cool, you know what I'm saying? That was pretty cool and stuff, you know. I liked the Politics as Usual, The Evils, Ain't No Nigga with Foxy Brown, Cashmere Thoughts was pretty good. Yeah, this whole album was not that bad and shit like that, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, man, Jay-Z, pretty much, you know, this was a classic album right here. My favorite Jay album to date. I don't give a fuck what no one says. All right. Now we're gonna get into In My Lifetime Volume 1. This album came out 1 year later. Very dope album from Jay. One of his most underrated, if you ask me. I never hear people talk about this record and stuff like that too. And I think because, like, you know, Jay even said that, you know, he didn't really care for this because, you know, this album came out during like a dark time, you know, because, you know, Biggie had Biggie had passed away. Yeah, Biggie had passed away at that time too. So, he was working closely with Puff Daddy and shit like that too. And at that time, Puff Daddy, he was known for a lot of those. Oh my God, FETV, cool. He was known for like a lot of like those like early '80s kind of samples and shit like that too. Which he executive produced this album, so you guys should know the executive producer does not necessarily produce every fucking track on this record, but at the same time, he's like in charge. He's in charge of the vision of the album and stuff like that too. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm gonna put some music on while I do this, just to spice some things up. Okay, okay, MTV classic videos. Okay, yeah, if y'all hear that in the background, that's Ahmad back in the day from 1994. One of my favorite songs ever. It's crazy how he didn't really become like a bigger star, but that's another story for a different day. Tracks like City Is Mine, I Know What Girls Like. I didn't care for that. Who You With Too. The first Who You With was on the Sprung soundtrack and stuff too. So yeah. You Must Love Me. Very, very, very underrated record. Jay-Z, Volume 2 In My Lifetime. Volume 2 Hard Knock Life. When I first heard this record, I didn't like it, to be real with you. I feel like it was a bit too commercial, but then now I kind of love it now. I like it now and stuff like that. It actually grew on me. I now know why people kind of put this album in a pedestal and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? This album was known for like the title track. You know what I'm saying? Can I Get a What? You know what I'm saying? Which that was originally supposed to be Ja Rule's song, believe it or not, but Jay-Z did what he had to do. Reservoir Dogs, A Week Ago, Money Cash Hoes, my favorite track, Nigga What, Nigga Who. Yeah. Then we have Jay-Z, Volume 3, Life and Times of Sean Carter. This one, I go back and forth with, like, this might be his most varied album at that point. It had some good songs, like I liked So Ghetto. I liked Watch Me. But then it has some songs like I Didn't Care for Things That You Do. I Didn't Care for S. Carter. Pop for Rock. You know what I'm saying? So it had like an equal amount of good and bad tracks and stuff like that too. So then we have Jay-Z with the Dynasty Rock La Familia album that came out in 2000. This album was supposed to have been a Rockefeller posse cut album, but at the same time, what ended up happening was the fact that the powers to be thought it would be marketed better as a Jay-Z album. So that's how we got like Jay-Z on it, but it's pretty much like a compilation and stuff like that too, you know what I'm saying? This is known for songs like Change the Game, Streets is Talking, I Just Want to Love You. I've always hated that fucking song. I'm sorry. I never liked that song. I'm a hustler, baby. Every time I hear that song, I just cringe. Like, Guilty Until Proven Innocent with R. Kelly. That might be my favorite collaboration they've ever done. I never really cared for a lot of their collaborations like that, surprisingly. So, yeah, this was a very good album. Then we have Jay-Z with The Blueprint. I mean, probably his second classic next to Reasonable Doubt, if you ask me. This album to me came out September 11th, 2001. Y'all should know about that day, 9/11 terrorist attacks and stuff like that too, you know what I'm saying? Very, very good album. This was known for songs like Take Over, The Ruler's Back, Jigga That Nigga, Girls, 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 Hola Avito, Song Cry, and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? This album came out during like his beef with Nas. He was also beefing with a lot of people. Like he was beef. That was the beginning of him beefing with Jada Kiss, which eventually became like the whole Beanie Siegel and Jada Kiss situation and stuff like that too. You know what I'm saying? Which they really just did that beat. They just did that shit literally on wax and stuff like that. Like that was more like competitive kind of shit. But this is a very, very, very dope album. Then we got Jay-Z and the Roots with Unplugged. This was the live album that came out late '01. Very, very, very dope Unplugged album and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Um, I really only got the album because of the unreleased on the hidden track People Talking. I hear the people talking. Very dope track. That's actually the last time Ski and Jay-Z actually did a song with one another too. So that should be noted for something. But this is actually a pretty good Unplugged album. I love the version of Takeover where when he did Prodigy and Nas, he played Shook Ones, and I want to say it was New York State of Mind respectively and stuff too. So very, very dope. Then we have Jay-Z American Gangster with that album came out in 2007. Now granted, I do not have the Blueprint 2 and Kingdom Come in my collection. And I kind of feel like with those albums was kind of and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? Even though I kind of put Kingdom Come a little step above Blueprint 2, if you ask me, because Kingdom Come actually has some dope shit like 30 something, Show Me What You Got. But this album is his best album post retirement, if you ask me. This and 444. This was like the closest we'll probably ever get to a Reasonable Doubt 2. He was inspired by the Denzel Washington movie American Gangster at the time. This is not a soundtrack. They already had a soundtrack that came out and shit like that too. So this was like his conceptual view on it. Like, this is known for songs like Hello Brooklyn 2.0 with Lil Wayne, Rock Boys, Party Life, Ignorant Shit. This album was what actually made me a Jay-Z fan. Like, I remember seeing the Blue Magic video for the first time on 106 in Park. I was just so blown away by that shit. Then we have Jay-Z with the Blueprint 3. This album came out in '09. Probably his weakest album to date. I'm gonna be real with you. The singles was what saved this record. I feel like the singles like Run This Town, on to the next one, Death of Autotone, but then you had like a lot of shit. Like, no, granted, the good song, like What We Talking About was good. I like Real As It Gets. A Star Is Born. Everything else, man, like minus the singles was off that with Drake, and I was like, man, yeah, this album, I don't know why he called it Blueprint 3 to begin with. I feel like, no, nigga, like, no, nigga, no, Jay, what are you doing? All right, we almost there, y'all. All right, now we have Jay-Z with 444, his most recent album. Very, very dope album, if you ask me. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people say this is like a dope album, a classic album, and whatnot too. I don't really go that far. I feel like it's just a very good album. I love songs like Bam. I love the title track. I like what's that one track? I hate when they don't have the track listed on these damn albums. Piss me off. The Family Tree song was pretty good. This was like his male response to Lemonade and stuff like that too. You know what I'm saying? Which I do need to talk about Lemonade and the Carter's Everything Is Love album. So stay tuned on that. Then we have Wyclef Jean with the Carnival album. This album came out in 1997. Very, very, very good album. His only good album, if you ask me. You know what I'm saying? This is like the closest we will probably get. This is probably the closest we'll probably get to the Score Part 2 and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Very, very, very good album and stuff too. You know what I'm saying? Known for songs like Bubble Goose, Anything Can Happen, Gone Till November. Mona Lisa was pretty good. Yeah, this is a classic album. Oh shit. Thank God nothing was in that cup I just knocked over. Thank God. Alright, now we're gonna get into some Gangstar with J. Rue the motherfucking Damager. A Sun or Sun Rises in the East. Very, very, very good album, if you ask me. I feel like with this album, Primo definitely stepped his game up with the beats and stuff. Like 94 was such a good year for Primo and stuff, if you ask me. Was known for songs like Brooklyn Took It, The Bitches, Ain't the Devil Happy, Ha 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 Ha. I love that record. Come Clean, Static. Yeah, this was a very, very hip hop classic. Now we're gonna get Jodeci with Diary of a Mad Band. This album came out in 1993. My favorite Jodeci album to date, Lord have mercy. This fucking album, man. I'm telling you, this album just fucking timeless in my opinion. I feel like this album is one of my favorites he's ever came out with. They've ever came out with, you know what I'm saying? When it comes to this record and stuff like that, like they definitely were had like a more G-funkish kind of feel and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? Devontae did his thing on the production, you know what I'm saying? You have songs like Fiendin', My Heart Belongs to You, What About Us and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? This whole album is just a classic. This might be top 15 R&B albums ever. Then we have their third album, The Show, The After Party, The Hotel. This album came out in 1995. Very, very, very good album, if you ask me. My only gripe, I felt like some of the skits was unnecessary. It was a bit too much on the skits. But yeah, you have songs like Let's Do It, Let's Do It All, Bring It On the Funk, and shit like that. I might actually jam this album tonight, to be real with you. This album, I've been actually feeling for this album. Freaking You. The only song I did not really like on this album, believe it or not, I did not like that Get On Up song. I got the message, but I kind of felt like it didn't really fit the album. You know what I'm saying? I felt like that fit more on the Casey and JoJo solo albums. But yeah, this one was alright. And then we have Billy Joel with 52nd Street. My favorite Billy Joel album, I know like a lot of people say The Stranger was his best and most magnum opus and stuff like that. That's actually my second favorite album. I feel like with this album, I love the jazziness he went with this one and stuff like that too. I love Big Shot, Zanzibar, My Life, Rosalinda's Eyes, Half a Mile Away. I mean, this whole fucking record was great. Then we got Elton John and Tim Rice, pretty much with the Lion King soundtrack. Very, very, very dope soundtrack. Yes, I got the Lion King soundtrack. It was only for like 50 cents. So I was like, why not? This was known for songs like The Circle of Life, Be Prepared, Can You Feel the Love Tonight? This is one of my favorite Elton John albums and stuff too, believe it or not. Alright, I'm gonna kind of run by these kind of quickly. We got John B with Cool Relax. This album came out in 1997, Number 7, John B, he was a protege of Babyface and stuff like that. Very dope album. Known for songs like Are You Still Down? That he did that song with Tupac. That was actually the last time Tupac was actually in a studio, believe it or not. They Don't Know. I love that track. Can't Help It. You know what I'm saying? Very, very, very dope record. Donnell Jones, Where I Wanna Be. Fire ass album. This album came out in 1999. This is known for songs like Where I Wanna Be, Know What's Up, All Her Love. Excuse me. Like, his first two albums are my favorites and shit. I'm just gonna let y'all know right now. Got Quincy Jones. I'm just gonna show both of these together. You know, we got The Dude in 1981. Very, 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 very dope album. This whole album was very, very, very good. It definitely had that like early 80s R&B feel to it, you know. I love the song Just Once. I love Betcha Wouldn't Hurt Me. Something Special. Razzmatazz was good. I mean, this whole fucking album was just amazing. Then we have 1989, my favorite Quincy Jones album, Back on the Block. Very, very, very hot album. You know what I'm saying? This album to me, it swept a lot of awards when it came out between like 89 and 91. This is known for songs like the cover of I'll Be Good to You, Tomorrow Better You and Me, Back on the Block. You know what I'm saying? Like, it has like a nice mixture between hip hop, jazz, R&B, so on and so on. I mean, he did his thing on this record. He deserved all those awards for this record. And that's a crazy thing too, because when it comes to like Quincy Jones, you know, he's mostly just known for, you know, working with like Michael Jackson. And that's nothing against MJ at all, but I feel like he did like a lot of dope shit in his career and stuff like that too. That's why I recommend you guys to watch the Netflix documentary about Quincy Jones and stuff too, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, fire album. Dope producer, arranger, composer, dope artist in general. Then we have Janis Joplin, Pearl. This album came out in 1971. This album came out months after I think like 4 months after she died. This is actually her solo album that she was working on before she died as well. Yeah, this album was pretty good. This is known for songs like Move Over, Buried Alive in the Blues, Me and My Bobby McGee, Mercedes Benz. Very, very, very dope record. And we got Junior Mafia, Conspiracy. You know, this album came out in 1995. Fucking dope album in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? This album was famous for being the breakout career from the company like Lil Kim and Lil C's. You know, Biggie organized this group. Known for songs like Excuse Me, Rhymes of Junior Mafia, I Need You Tonight, Get Money, Backstabbers, Lyrical Wizardry. Very, very, very dope album. It's a shame they didn't really drop another album, but, you know, with Biggie passing away, you know, that kind of played a whole part in it. And then I know that a couple of members had like a falling out, especially when Lil Kim went to prison and stuff like that too, you know what I'm saying? Give me 1 second. All right. Almost there, man. Almost there. All right, then we have Just Ice with Cool and Deadly. This album came out in 1987. Yeah, 87. I think it was like 87 this album came out. No, actually, hold on. Yeah. This was a very dope record. This is the first record that he did with KRS One. First record he did with KRS One and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? This was known for songs like, you know, fucking Freedom of Speech, March to It. He did original Gangsta of Hip Hop, lyric licking. Yeah, Just Ice, man, fucking hip hop legend right there. And he don't get his just due. You got Cam with Never Again. Very, very dope album that came out from 93, Ice Cube's cousin and shit, you know what I'm saying? I want to say he was Cube's cousin, yeah. Known for songs like Peace Treaty, Never Again, Y'all Don't Hear Me Do, y'all Don't Hear Me Though, Ain't That a Bitch, When you listen to Cam, you should know about Cam is the fact that he is on that Nation of Islam, heavy on his music and stuff like that too. So yeah. I want to get my hands on the Made in America album. That album it's kind of hard to come by. It shouldn't be too expensive though. We got Alicia Keys. I'm just gonna show both of these just to save time. We got the Songs in A Minor from 2001. Fucking dope album right here. One of my favorite Alicia Keys. Actually, my favorite Alicia Keys album, next to Diary for Alicia Keys. This was known for songs like Girlfriend, her cover of How Come You Don't Call Me No More, Falling, Rock With You was dope, and stuff like that too, you know what I'm saying? Very, very, very dope album. Nice little blend of neo soul and shit. Then we have 2003 with The Diary for Alicia Keys. Very, very dope album. It's actually my favorite album she's ever came out with and shit, you know what I'm saying? Known for a lot of classics like Diary, Heartburn, If I Was Your Woman, You Don't Know My Name. You know what I'm saying? Like, definitely had like a lot of top producers here and shit, you know what I'm saying? Very dope album. Then we got Tragedy Gaddafi, aka The Intelligent Hoodlum, or formerly known as The Intelligent Hoodlum. This album came out in 1990. Very different from like the shit like he would end up doing for like Capone and Noriega and all them. He was on that Nation of Islam, Steve, and stuff too, you know what I'm saying? Known for songs like No Justice, No Peace, Black and Proud, Keep Striving, Arrest the President, title track. Fire, Fire, Fire album. The production, it was mostly produced by like Large Professor and stuff like that too. Like he did like that couple tracks. Marty Marl did some shit too, but it was like a lot of the shit Marty Professor did and shit, you know what I'm saying? Alright. Now we have Shaka Khan with The Woman I Am. This album came out in 1992. Very, very dope record. One of my favorite Shaka albums. This album she kind of did in tribute to Miles Davis because, they were friends and they worked with each other. Definitely had like a very jazzy feel to it. Known for songs like Telephone, Facts of Love, Give Me Lovin', Be My Eyes. Very, very, very dope record. All right. Got all these Ghostface albums. Let me just bring out the Ghost. The GOAT right here and shit. Alrighty. Yeah. Alright, this is now we got 1996 Iron Man. You know what? Yeah. I'm just gonna probably do the Ghostface. End it off with the Ghostface and shit like that, and then I'll just continue with the Coogee rap and stuff too, because I'm already got an hour on this, and I'm not really trying to have my phone die on me right now. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so this album right here, very, very, very good. My favorite Ghostface album, possibly. This is actually the OG version, and you can tell because it has the song, The Soul Controller, which has been taken off Future Repressings. Yeah, I don't have the cover, but you know what? It's a collector's item. Known for songs like Winter Wars, Camay, Wildflower, Faster Blade, and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Very, very, very dope record. Then we have Supreme Clientele. This album came out in 2000. Very, very, very dope record too. My second favorite Ghost album. You know what I'm saying? He pretty much, rejuvenated the Wu, because like a lot of those albums that they came out with didn't really fare too well. This was just a nice return of form. Songs like Buck 50, Mighty Healthy, Apollo Kids, Ghost Dini, Nutbag One. I mean, fire out. This is a hip hop classic. 1991. 1991 we got is Bulletproof Wallet. Very, very, very dope record too. You know what I'm saying? The original version of this record, it kind of went through some sample clearance issues, so they had to like redo like a lot of the tracks. It's okay. I mean, it's a very good album in my opinion. I like this album, but I'm not gonna lie. I kind of prefer the original one better. But you know what? I'm grateful that this album's still dope, if you ask me. Then we have Ghostface with our Fish Scale. Very, very, very dope record. Very dope record and stuff like that. Fire album. You know what I'm saying? This was known for songs like The Champ, Heartstring Directions, Be Easy, Clips of Doom. You know what I'm saying? Definitely had that nice little street feel to it. You know what I'm saying? 12 Reasons to Die that came out in 2013 and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Very good album. One of my favorite Ghostface albums and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Definitely production very reminiscent of like the 36 Chambers days. Known for songs like Blood on the Cobblestone, Center for Traction, Rise of the Ghostface Killer. Very dope. And the last album I want to show you guys for today is Sour Soul. This one he did the album Bad Bad Not Good that came out in 2015. Very dope. Known for songs like Mind Playing Tricks, Mono, Sour Soul. It has like a very different sound when it comes to like Ghostface and stuff like that. He had like a very more, a deeper soul kind of sound and stuff. You know what I'm saying? I definitely got to check more into Bad Bad Not Good's material. You know what I'm saying? And that's pretty much all the album I'm going to show you. I'm going to continue off with the Cool G raps, finish up this whole shelf, and then once I end it up right here, then I'll be good. I'm going to upload all the other CD recaps to catch up. And then I'm going to go to the box and stuff like that too. So thank y'all so much for watching. I hope you guys have a good night. Peace.